sometimes other people have ideas that we don't. I love to ask people for new ideas. And I find sometimes in agencies we avoid it because we may not like their idea, so we don't use it. So we've got to be careful with that. We want to make sure that we look at ideas, different people's ideas objectively, and not just because we don't like it doesn't mean it won't work. Hi, Therese with Agency Performance Partners here, and I'm here to talk to you today about ways to handle an upset insurance client. So there are so many things going on when a client calls in and is upset, or you call them and they are upset. You can usually tell they're upset by the tone of their voice. So first and foremost, the biggest tip I can give you is you need to listen to them and you need to show empathy. So when they're talking and they're done talking, you say, I understand completely. So you need to let them know that you understand. You could use something like, I've been in a situation like that before, or you just kind of make them feel like, hey, I get it. I've heard this before. I've seen this before. I've experienced this before. Let's find a solution. So some of the tips in my blog are, first and foremost, you want to know your client. Before you start explaining everything, understand their background, their needs, their level of insurance knowledge. And it'll help you kind of tailor an explanation to their specific situation. Use simplified terminology. Don't use insurance jargon. Insurance jargon is going to make it very hard for them. They're not going to understand. So be sure to explain what the terms mean and don't just assume that they understand those, no matter who you're speaking to. They're not an insurance agent. Some terms are going to be confusing. So use analogies. Compare insurance concepts to something the client is familiar with. That can be helpful. For example, you might like insurance premiums to monthly subscription fees for a service. Use visual aids. When I was in the industry and actually selling insurance, I used to draw an auto policy, a home policy, and then I would draw the umbrella upside down underneath it to explain the liability. So sometimes visual aids can help. Try telling stories. Share real life scenarios or examples to make abstract concepts more concrete. So any kind of personal stories or examples is helpful because it kind of breaks down those barriers. They're understanding and they're learning from you. They're hearing the story. They're understanding that you know what they're going through and you can make sense of it. So break down complex ideas. So do step-by-step breakdown. Break down any complex ideas into smaller digestible pieces. For example, when explaining how deductibles work, walk the client through the process from claims to payment. Question and answer sessions. Encourage your clients to ask questions throughout the conversation. It can help gauge their understanding and address any specific concerns that they may have. So provide options. If applicable, present different insurance options and explain the pros and cons of those options. This empowers the client to make an informed choice based on their needs and their budget. Risk assessment. Discuss the client's risk profile and how insurance can mitigate those risks. By tying the concepts directly to the circumstances, they may better grasp the importance of certain coverages. I have an example of a friend of mine who was a foster parent. The child got her driver's license, took her car out and actually hit a pedestrian, and she lost everything she owned. She lost her house, she lost her car, she lost everything, and it was a foster child. So it wasn't even somebody who was biologically related to her. It was just somebody that she was trying to help out. So having an umbrella policy in that situation would have helped a great deal. Policy documents. Offer to provide the policy documents and review them together. It allows the client to see the details in writing and allows them to ask questions from those policy documents. Use plain language documents. If possible, offer policy documents or summaries written in plain language because we all know that the regular policies are really hard to read for people who aren't in the industry. Follow-up. After your initial conversation, follow up to ensure they didn't have any lingering questions or concerns. Reinforce key points as needed, reiterating, engage, empathize, be an active listener and show empathy. Understand that insurance can be overwhelming and clients might have concerns or fears. Address these with care and patience. And repetition. It may take multiple discussions with the client for them to fully understand the complex insurance concept. So don't be afraid to revisit important topics to reinforce the key ideas over time. So remember, the goal is not only to explain, but also to empower your client with the knowledge and confidence to make informed decisions about their insurance coverage. Tailoring your explanation to their needs and providing ongoing support will go a long way to ensuring they understand. It will actually help you, maintain the client. It helps with retention. They'll come to you when they have questions. So it's really great to build those relationships with those clients by using the different strategies that I just went over. Then you have problem solving and conflict resolution strategies. So just to name a couple of those, you want to gather information from the client. You want to identify the problem, set objectives, generate solutions, evaluate those solutions, select the best solution, and communicate that with the client. Monitor the progress and make sure you document everything. It's very, very important to document. You want to make sure that if you win the lottery at lunch, as APP always says, that the people in your office can actually continue the conversation where you left off. So you don't want to write a book, but you want to be able to be detailed enough to be able to let someone pick up where you left off. So you don't want to go into all the nitty-gritty details and all the discussion, but the main points need to be written down and documented in your notes in your management system. One thing that I say in the article is that your management system is gold. Everything needs to go there. It's kind of weird when you call a client and say, hey, we've had your policy for 5 years, but I need your date of birth. Carriers have started hiding the date of birth and the social security number. And if you need it, and you don't have it in your management system, it's going to be very difficult to get it. You're not going to find it anywhere, so you're going to have to call the client, and that can be awkward. So make sure that you put as much information as possible into your management system. You can't depend on the carrier's system to maintain that information. So next of all, when you have an upset client that calls, you want to stay calm and maintain professionalism. Professional demeanor when dealing with clients or colleagues in conflict is key. Avoid reacting emotionally. Make sure you're listening actively. Allow other parties to express their concerns. Don't interrupt them. Empathize. So when you empathize, you acknowledge the client's frustrations and concerns. You're not giving them sympathy. You're not apologizing. You're just acknowledging their concerns. That's what empathy is. Avoid blame. So even if you in your mind as an insurance agent believe that the client was at fault for an accident or something or a situation, you don't want to come out and say, well, it was your fault, because then you'll start an argument. So try to avoid blaming. Ensure both parties have a clear understanding of the problem. Any miscommunications or misunderstanding will also often contribute to conflict. So you want to avoid that. Propose solutions. Make the customer see that you are the solutions provider. You are their hero. Like we talk about hard market hero, you are their hero. You should be able to find solutions, give them solutions, figure out how to solve their biggest concerns. Ask for input from other parties, like in your office. If you have a question or you have something you can't figure out, collaboration with your team can lead to some great solutions. Sometimes other people have ideas that we don't. I love to ask people for new ideas. And I find sometimes in agencies, we avoid it because we may not like their idea, so we don't use it. So we've got to be careful with that. We want to make sure that we look at ideas, different people's ideas objectively, and not just because we don't like it doesn't mean it won't work. To negotiate fairly. So if necessary, negotiate to find common ground. Be willing to compromise within reasonable limits and follow through. This is one of the things that we struggle with. So if I talk to a client today and they're struggling and they don't understand, if I don't follow up and follow through, well, how are they going to feel about me and the agency? They're going to still be upset. It's going to cause even more upset. So we need to make sure that we're following up and following through and showing the client that we really do care about them and that their well-being and their understanding of the concept is really important. It also demonstrates your commitment to resolving the conflict. So seek supervision or mediation. So if something comes up that can't be resolved, involve a supervisor, a manager, or a mediator to facilitate a solution and learn from conflict. That is so important. When you have a conflict and you don't handle it well, learn. We all make mistakes. We all tend to sometimes react instead of respond. When you mess up, learn from it. How would I have done that better? How could I have done that better? What should have I said? What did I say wrong? So if the client's still upset and frustrated and you don't understand why, have a coworker or a manager listen to the call and say, I don't understand what I did wrong here. I need to reflect on this and I need to do better. One of the biggest problems we have in the insurance industry is we don't want to change. We don't want the conflict of people basically coming back and telling us that we did something wrong. And that's got to change. We can't be set in our own ways too much to where we don't take constructive criticism. Constructive criticism is very important for us to change and improve and to grow. And if you have a very closed mind when it comes to those kind of things, maybe the insurance industry is not the place for you, because the way society and the industry is changing, we have to make sure that we keep up with all of that. And if we have a closed mind and we're not open to change and open to learning things new, then it's just really hard to go anywhere. I love learning new things. I love learning from people. So I always say, we are the facilitators. Agency performance partners, we're facilitators of knowledge. We bring in knowledge, people give us knowledge, and we share the knowledge. So, we're not necessarily all knowing. We can learn from different experiences that you have had as well. So we love to listen to those experiences, share them, and help find solutions and help just listen to each other and learn from each other. Some people are better at conflict resolution than others, so we need to learn from them. When you're learning from the conflict, what caused it? How was it resolved? Use the insights to prevent similar issues in the future. Make sure you maintain privacy. So respect the privacy of the parties involved. If there's an issue, you may be able to discuss it with one coworker. Remember, we don't want to waste time, so we don't want to blow up when we talk to a customer and we had an upset customer and go around the entire agency and tell everybody and waste all everybody's time, get everybody else upset. We want to make sure that we maintain privacy. Try not to talk bad about customers. If you need to vent, talk to a wall, journal. You may be able to talk to one coworker or a manager, especially if it's an incident where you're not quite sure what went wrong and you want to do better. You would want to bring it to a manager and discuss it with a manager and try to see how it can be changed. Maybe the manager can turn it around and you can listen to the manager turn it around and learn from it. Try all those things. When a client calls upset, the first thing you need to do is stop and listen. You need to make sure that you respond instead of react. So that's really, really important. So I hope these tips helped. Read the blog. There's many, many more tips in there about how to deal with upset clients. We recommend role playing. We know everybody hates role playing, but we recommend it because it gives you a chance to basically talk through situations where you're not on the spot or you're not talking to a customer, you're talking to a coworker. So it will help you be able to basically, when that customer does call in with that concern or that problem, it will make it easier for you and give you more confidence on how to handle it. So if you have any questions, check us out, agencyperformancepartners.com. Thanks for joining me. You can reach me at Therese, Therese, at agencyperformancepartners.com if you have any questions. Thanks for listening today. Have a great day.